How's it going, guys? UOttawaScotty here. This video deals with the United Peoples of Canada Community Centre, which has been the subject of a lot of speculation in Ottawa, as well as vandalism, some just awful vandalism happening at this community centre, and a lot of really horrible press from our legacy media outlets, and so I really wanted to take it upon myself to go down there and speak to someone and find out for myself what these guys are all about. Maybe shed some light on who these people are and what they actually do. This is my third time going to this location to try and make contact with somebody to interview them. I've been unsuccessful 2 times before. But today was the day where I happened to bump into someone, and I was very happy that I did. I got a VIP tour of the facility. Please like and subscribe this video, and most importantly, please share this video as much as you possibly can. We are all about the truth on UOttawaScotty YouTube's channel, and I would very much like the truth to get out with regards to the United Peoples of Canada. These guys are receiving death threats, so it's pretty serious. And so anyways, without further ado, let's get to the video. Please watch the entire video if you can, and again, like, subscribe, and share this video as much as you possibly can. Thank you so much, guys. What's up, guys? UOttawaScotty coming at you here. I'm really stoked. I'm here with William. And I've been here a couple times so far and haven't been able to make contact with anybody just yet, but just happened to run into William here. So, and if they don't mind me asking, that's your garage there as well?
Yeah, so this, well, we're in the process of acquiring this, I guess we'll call it a compound here.
Okay.
So it's a group of properties. There's the church, there's these 2 adjacent properties, and this property over here.
Oh,
they're all kind of part of a collection of properties.
Okay.
A compound, if you will.
Interesting. So that's part of it, and this is part of it.
These 2 are separate address, 2 side-by-side structures here,
okay.
And then the St. Bridget's Church in the parking lot.
And are these are there people living in here? Are they rental units?
There's a couple residential, 2 or 3 residential, I believe, and there's some offices in there as well.
Okay. So I just got here right now, William, and what I'm noticing right away is the couple times I've been here so far, I've noticed that somebody has thrown some eggs at your door once, and I actually noticed a few syringes around.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, I guess we'll call them, police refer to them as poultry products, kind of, jokingly. I mean, it's eggs. So what's going on here? Because I just got here, and what do we have here? Yeah, so I guess people have been, trying some things. So last night there was this, I believe it's a spray paint of some kind that was put here, and we've had some eggs that have been thrown here, a banner that appears to have been ripped down.
Yeah.
There was a flag that was stolen on the other side there. Our United People of Canada flag. Its pole was snapped in half. It was taken, and then after what we understand was more knowingly false defamatory libel being spread about us online, a Canadian flag was taken, its pole snapped approximately in half there. And we're working with Ottawa Police with respect to bringing perpetrators to justice, ensuring that the rule of law is upheld in the city of Ottawa, specifically around this area of the city here. Right. It seems to be that certain individuals have taken it upon themselves perhaps to be unlawful, to be hateful. We understand that there seems to be a public incitement of hate, towards our inclusive space. We're not, sure why people are being so hateful. It does seem to be perhaps some people don't want an inclusive, area here. There was an individual at our barbecue shouting obscenities at a visible minority family that was here at our barbecue. They weren't very comfortable with that. This was, again, someone across the street basically yelling at them, to my understanding and perspective, saying, hey, basically kind of, you're not welcome here, we don't want you here. Why someone would be shouting that at this family. Some of the things they were saying, weren't making a lot of sense. They were yelling at this, family with young children. They were, I believe, in part Rwandan background there as well.
Okay.
And they were being called white supremacists by this individual. Which didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Towards persons that would be identified as perhaps, BIPOC by people in the community, coming from a country where they had experienced, a genocide there, and being yelled at by this person speaking vulgar obscenities and making sexual gestures towards them and their young children. Calling them white supremacists didn't make a lot of sense.
This makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
And this is a phenomenon that we're seeing in our society all the time now. I've been called a white supremacist too. I personally don't know a single white supremacist. I've never met one.
Googling the definition, part of the definition, according to, I believe it's Oxford Languages, includes, persons that, want to exclude people based on their perhaps non-white ethnicity. It seemed like someone shouting obscenities at this BIPOC family might be wanting to exclude them from the community. That could meet the definition of white supremacist according to Oxford Languages.
Right, interesting.
Why did this particular person, while calling them and labeling them white supremacists, from my understanding and perspective of the interaction there, perhaps they had redefined white supremacist to mean BIPOC. And perhaps BIPOC now meant white supremacist. They're using opposite language. I don't know, right? So, again, maybe in their dictionary, white supremacist meant, black indigenous person of color, and black indigenous person of color meant white supremacist, and that's perhaps why they were using those interchangeably. I'm not sure, right?
Well, we're trying to figure it out. It's all very confusing. So, William, what is, so this is the People's...
it's the United People of Canada.
United Peoples of Canada. United People of Canada, and it's an inclusive space. Tell us what it is. Tell us what this place is, because there's been a lot of discussion on Reddit. There's been all kinds of speculation. I want to know, tell the people what this place really is.
We're developing a 24/7 vibrant and inclusive community space where everyone's welcome. We're looking to do like a little different approach than one would hear, like, community center. They might be thinking sports and recreation facility, hockey arena, soccer dome, one of those kind of senior centers type things. This is intergenerational, interfaith, interracial, woman-led, minority-led social enterprise organization that is restoring and adaptively reusing surplus and underutilized institutional properties into vibrant, inclusive community spaces. So, I can walk you through kind of what we're thinking to do in here.
Absolutely.
And in the process of doing right now.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating. I think it's fascinating.
You've got a venue space in here. This building was, repurposed 15 years ago as a venue and event space. It featured an Irish pub in the basement, some space up here, and I can even take you on a tour if you'd like.
I'd love that. I've been in here once. I used to tune the piano in here.
Well, there you go. And so this parking lot area here, we're looking to, kind of to its full potential. So perhaps that mix of some guest parking on the exterior on either side,
okay,
and the interior having a vibrant outdoor event space for kind of live music, gatherings, friends and family get-togethers, those sorts of things. Kind of building, a mini version of kind of like the Stacked Market in Toronto, where you have, maybe several storage containers here and some stacked up, creating an outdoor kind of stage area, storage area, mixed-use space area, while also being a sound barrier, kind of playing some live music here, kind of keeps that sound away from everybody else.
So, William, are you from Ottawa?
I'm kind of a bit of a nomad, so I travel around a lot. Originally from London, Ontario.
Okay.
And spent a lot of my time in London, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver.
Okay. Now, so you've been around here for a little bit now. This is probably one of the rougher areas of Ottawa, and that's one of the issues that this lower town has been experiencing. And I'm really hoping that this community church can turn this around somehow. I really think this is a great thing you're doing for this.
Yeah, we're not a church, per se.
Or sorry,
we have different faith engagements with us. So this facility, we're referring to it as the embassy. So again, it's a vibrant, inclusive space. All kinds of people, all different backgrounds can be so often Down here.
Wow.
We're in the process of.
But you've even got a kitchen too, eh? Wow.
Yeah, we're in the process of finishing up this space down here, so you can see we're doing a lot of concrete patching.
Okay.
So the idea is that it'll be, much fresher, brighter, kind of multi-use space that can be used for some conferences, art shows, community events, weddings, and that kind of stuff. It's been used in that way, thus far as the former St. Bridget's Center for the Arts and Humanities.
This is fantastic.
Batch of the epoxies. This is kind of the color it's going to be going, so much more bright and fresh. That'll be kind of sealed and clear coated on top, so it's easier to clean and brighter. We'll be adding some more lighting down here.
Okay.
So that way, for all these community conversations that we'll be hosting, we're looking to continuously improve everything.
Okay, this is fantastic.
And there's some other kind of spaces over there being used for storage right now, but will become kind of more co-working type here.
Wow, cool. Is that ever neat?
I've got these staircases done right now. We're going to be working on this section back here, first to kind of get that all refurbished. And then this is the, St. Bridget's Well was the pub that was in here. This is going to be repurposed to more of a community cafe concept.
Okay.
We'll be putting a large patio kind of along the Cumberland side of the building there, like a conversation cafe. People can kind of gather. And as a reward for people that are volunteering and helping out in the community, they could receive, gift cards, certificates, etc. for the community cafe as like a thank you for their contribution to the community. And then that way, we have a lot of people that, they may have different kind of income levels, different housing situations, some people that are unhoused or underhoused that have been coming here and volunteering and helping out. And we've been giving them, some hats and merchandise and things as kind of thank yous for volunteering, as well as a number of other kind of volunteers from all kinds of backgrounds. But we'd like to go a step further and say, here's a gift card, you're welcome to come to the community cafe. Thank you for volunteering. Here's a complimentary membership and access to the space, etc. So people, whether they're able to pay for things, they're able to, volunteer for things, and they're able to just do good deeds in the community and get rewarded, that sort of thing.
Amazing, amazing, so cool. This is so cool. Wow. It's such a great idea.
Here, so we've got. Quite a large assembly space.
Whoa, man, this is
You can
unreal.
imagine the community conversation gatherings, speakers. There's been a number of concerts. I believe a youth orchestra played here quite regularly.
Whoa, I'm just like, it's been a while since I've been in here.
Yeah.
This is unreal.
So it definitely needs a little bit of restoration work, and we're ready and willing to get that done with the community support. So we're hoping that people will come together as they already have been. We've been having painters, former construction, renovation managers, stonemasons, just people coming out and saying, hey, we'd like to help out, we'd like to volunteer, we'd like to get involved. And we've had people kind of contributing to help out, kind of financially with the restoration work as well as with their time and effort.
Okay, wow.
So if you want to help out,
definitely.
www.tupoc.ca, tupoc.ca, and we've got a volunteer form on there. There's a career page, as well as if anyone would like to donate, they can do that via e-transfer at donate@tupoc.ca. So it's donate@tupoc.ca via e-transfer or by credit card online.
Okay, okay.
Lots of music opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. And this is just wonderful. Wonderful. I'm trying to catch this on camera, guys. This is an absolutely unreal venue building. How old is this, William? Do you know?
I believe it's over 120 years old. I believe there's probably a plaque out front because it's a pretty historic property that explains that.
Okay, yeah.
The interesting point that we learned from one of the current owners is I believe this taller tower here, it's quite a bit taller than the other one. They're not symmetrical. I believe that was significant that it was a foot in height for every mile of the canal, because a lot of the Irish Canadians, I believe, were involved in the construction of the canal. And this was the kind of the Irish working class church was built by the community, kind of for the community, because my understanding is they didn't feel, maybe perhaps as welcomed or included in some of the other spaces in town, and created this cathedral here. So there's a lot of significance to being a space for those that have been perhaps discriminated against or persecuted or that sort of thing. So it has a lot of significance as a safe space in the community for all persons of all backgrounds, beliefs, etc.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So cool. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in here. Really cool. And I love your logo, by the way.
Well, thank
With
you.
the tree with the Canadian flags, or sorry, little maple leaves for a tree. It's a really handsome, very bold logo. Really like it a lot. Wow.
And we really wanted to capture, the people. So it's representative of the people, and not just in Canada. This is the United People of Canada. This first initial chapter here. But our goal is to grow this into an international organization of the United People,
Right.
of all nations and backgrounds.
With the goal of uniting Canada.
Uniting Canadians, uniting all different people of all different backgrounds, all throughout the world, focusing on our, commonality as humans, and not focusing so much on our differences and working together.
So that's like the exact antithesis of what everybody's been saying about you.
That would be correct, which is quite odd why people are saying these defamatory things that don't make sense in the same sentence as a diverse and inclusive, intergenerational, interracial, interfaith, woman-led and minority-led social enterprise organization.
So, William, let me just ask you really quickly, and I know this is probably just opening a whole can of worms, but if you could summarize it in 30 seconds, why do you think that our society is like that? Why? I mean, what's your best guess?
I wouldn't say society as a whole. This seems to be individual actors within a society that they're acting in this way. From what we gather, it seems to be we've been, for whatever reason, made out to be affiliated with the Freedom Convoy, who we understand, various persons, organizations, media outlets, public figures, etc. From what I've, heard, from people saying, have been saying, false and defamatory things towards a group of people in general that they identified as particularly the Freedom Convoy. And then those things that have been said and perceived and hate towards that group, if you call it a group there, has been projected on us due to some, false, implication, suggestion, claim of an affiliation.
Okay.
So it seems to be, a labeling thing, and then this has been labeled affiliated, so then this is also this. And it just seems very strange to us. Now, these are obviously not true about our organization, these hateful and untrue, and in our case, we understand to be knowingly falsely made defamatory statements in a number of cases, which we've engaged the police with addressing. It's our understanding that, publishing knowingly false defamatory libel is a criminal offense contrary to the criminal code. It's not strictly a civil matter, and again, this isn't legal advice. We'd ask people to seek their own legal advice on these matters, but we take criminal conduct towards the United People of Canada, attendees at our barbecues and our events, and ourselves as directors quite seriously. And we're willing to engage all levels of law enforcement and the courts as necessary to ensure upholding of the rule of law.
Excellent. Excellent. That's really refreshing to hear. I'm going to shake your hand right now because you're such a good. You look like a young guy too.
People could perceive that, whatever young means, right?
We don't want to be ageist.
Ageist, yeah. So,
but
quite inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just everything about it is inclusive. This is just wonderful. I'm just, my mind is blown that there are people out there that can put something like this together and cooperate on this level. And it's very inspiring. I find it very, very inspiring. And keep going, man, because there's people.
Like to see up top there.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
An inspiring view. Just see everything here and the potential for the community.
And so, thanks for that. I found that your answer to my question kind of interesting too. And if I can summarize it, it seemed like what you were saying is basically what it comes down is labels. Labels. People labeling things. And do you also think it could be a lack of communication kind of a thing? Because I'm here communicating with you, and you seem like you're a really great young man. And do you think if people talk to each other a little bit more, these types of things could be avoided?
We hope in many respects. However, we did have an unfortunate situation at our recent community barbecue where an individual came with our understanding with the intent to cause a disturbance to peace. That's how we perceived it. And they did, from our perspective, in fact, proceed to cause a disturbance to peace. And we were, after it became aware that they were making a number of persons uncomfortable there. They were politely asked to leave, kind of refused to immediately do so as required by the Trespass to Property Act. They were asked a number of times to immediately leave the premises, and eventually finally did leave after making, we'll call it from my perspective, a belligerent scene on the way out. Proceeded to stand and sit in front of the property on the sidewalk, yelling obscenities towards persons that were attending the family-friendly community barbecue. And so Ottawa police were engaged. They responded quite quickly. They professionally addressed the manner that was the situation that was happening there, and the individual in question did eventually leave the property. They did then go, to our knowledge, what we understand was a knowingly false defamatory libel was posted online. Again, police are in the process of investigating that, is our understanding. And we just ask that people be respectful. If somebody does want to have a genuine conversation here and see what's going on, we ask that they be courteous, not resort to what persons that were attending the barbecue seemed to believe they were being verbally abusive towards myself. I did perceive it that way as well. Did let them know that, hey, this is not the way you should be talking to people. If you would like me to answer questions that you have, I'd appreciate if you would provide the context to them. When I asked, for instance, they were saying, well, how can you have a safe space if you, and I'll use the word allegedly, they were claiming that we did, but we didn't have an anti-vax material and anti-vax sponsor for the barbecue. There was no such group or organization sponsoring the barbecue. There was a vaccine injury awareness, informed consent campaign that had sponsored the recent community barbecue. There was Health Canada literature around the lawful marketing or illegal marketing of drugs and devices with links to references there. So there was a lot of concern that some people had been raising in the community, is my understanding, about potential illegal marketing of vaccination products and those sorts of things. There is my understanding, and people can talk to get their own legal advice. This is not legal advice, but our understanding is why this literature was being distributed was a number of people might want to report what they may see as potentially illegal marketing practices, and it goes into detail on Health Canada's website what are kind of legal and illegal marketing practices and what you can do to report those. So Health Canada literature is being handed out or made available for people that wish to take it. It wasn't actually being handed to people, it was just there and available. And there were vaccine injury awareness wristbands made available to people if they wish to take them. And there were signs with a QR code to go for more information about the vaccine injury awareness campaign, linking to the Health Canada resources about reporting illegal marketing practices if somebody did observe them. And it's my understanding, having reviewed this literature, that an example of illegal marketing practices would be marketing medical devices, drugs, pharmaceutical products, biologics, biosimilars such as vaccination products, while downplaying their risks and overstating their benefits. And a lot of people in the community have raised concerns, especially with respect to specifically the COVID-19 vaccinations, that there's a lot of advertising go around potentially that was overstating benefits and downplaying risks. And it does seem to me, according to this Health Canada publication, that might be unlawful, and certain persons that may have heard perhaps an unbalanced advertisement might feel they want to report that.
Okay.
So that sponsor had nothing to do with pro-vaccination, anti-vaccination. It was simply, as they kind of put it, a warning label, which I understand, reviewing this publication and information, should have been on all this advertising anyhow. And there were persons that were perhaps concerned that it wasn't.
Okay.
So they created a warning label campaign that basically allowed people to know that there is a risk, injuries do in fact happen. Inform yourself and make an informed consent decision, which I'm understanding from my perspective is what is supposed to be happening. And it's my understanding that a number of people have raised concerns that that's not perhaps happening in perhaps a number of scenarios. Yeah. So again, no anti-vaccination material was at the barbecue whatsoever, to my knowledge, but it was sponsored by an informed consent campaign.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. That pretty much explains everything. So, if any of you guys have any questions, that William probably just cleared that all up for you. And that was a really, really good explanation. That was very interesting, too. I had no idea. You're a very knowledgeable person.
We've got some of those extra material floating around. I could
Yeah,
some if you want
I'd love to. I'd love to look
see
at
exactly what was available there. And again, to my knowledge, and I did ask this individual that, from my understanding, had come there to, whether they intended to come there to cause a disturbance of the peace, or it resulted by them, asking about things. And I asked them, well, where do you see anything that's anti-vaccination? They got all agitated and said, well, they're the one asking the questions, et cetera. And I said, well, if you want me to answer a question where in part of it you said something about us allegedly being sponsored by an anti-vaccination group, I'm not going to say something that's not true.
Right.
Could you qualify that by telling me what you believe here is anti-vaccination?
Right.
And they just got really hostile.
Yeah, and
then did later post that I, quote unquote, according to their post, admitted to it being sponsored by an anti-vax group, which is completely untrue. I never said that, and that was knowingly false information. It was posted online because I discussed with them at length about this.
So yeah, and that happens all the time.
Got this beautiful organ here, which apparently we've been told does function and work.
So
when the church was originally sold to the four private owners about 15 years ago, it's my understanding this was working. I just need a little repair on the bellows downstairs.
The bellows, yeah. So
and there's not a lot of these in the community, so we're hoping to get this, preserved and allow people to, experience organs and be able to, learn and practice and play. Again, these are, you can see by the size of this thing, it's not like just a little keyboard you can put somewhere. This is a very, intricate piece of musical equipment, very historically significant. And we're hoping, in addition to the rest of the facility, keeping this available for generations to come. So
I'm a registered piano technician, and I fix pianos, and I've rebuilt pump organs. Oh, wow. Not a whole lot of them, but also player pianos. Yeah. So there's a good chance that I can help you out with this.
That would be amazing, because the more we can, restore and make available these spaces for the community. Again, the goal is a vibrant, inclusive community space.
Right.
Arts, culture, music is very important to what we're curating here. And it's understanding over the past couple of years, especially, a number of independent musicians, local community players have been adversely impacted by a number of restrictions surrounding spaces to play and that sort of thing. So we're hoping to be part of a rebirth, revitalization of local live music scene.
Yeah, that's just I'm down here every weekend playing. I'm down here this weekend actually at Mother McGinty's, just down the road from here, and my wife and I were full-time musicians, and this is just fantastic.
And one of because again it was it may have been some cost considerations when being built, or it may have just been the skill of the individuals involved. But this was, again, our understanding that the working people's church, these aren't, stone marble columns, these are actually like wood, and they've been painted as faux marble as well.
Yeah, faux.
So it's a very soft, non-echoey space, which is why a lot of musical groups have wanted to perform here. It has the acoustics without requiring amplification, but it doesn't have the echo of perhaps a stone hallway would.
I noticed that.
So it's a very unique acoustic space, not just in Ottawa, but in Canada. And we're looking to have that available as a community performance arts venue space.
Because that's just something that's hugely lacking in Ottawa right now. You know what is really, really lacking in terms of that is a place for like all ages shows. Back when I was a kid in Ottawa, there used to be quite a few places you can go, like when you're in high school, to catch shows, but there really doesn't seem to be anything like that nowadays. So
And I was saying that's a lot of events maybe involving alcohol and those sorts of things.
yeah.
Is that problematic? So I mean, all of our events that we've been holding here thus far, they have all been alcohol free.
Yeah, that's great.
So they're definitely it's quite accessible from that perspective. And I've been involved with working with organizations that run kind of youth and community music programs and things. So have some ideas for how we could reach out to and involve or develop similar programs, here.
William, I know you're a busy guy, and I see you're busy doing something here in the garage.
We're doing some, I guess it's not spring cleaning, it's summer cleaning. So we're reorganizing the space here to be a little more efficient for our teams of dedicated volunteers that are going to be coming and getting this whole space ready to go for a lot of these community conversations. So it's about continual improvement every day. We're continuing to improve the building, making it more usable and vibrant for the community. And if anyone wants to help out with that, we've got our volunteer portal online. And the more the merrier, the more hands that we have to help out, the quicker we can get this being as vibrant as possible for the community.
Sounds great, William. Thank you so much.
You're
I can't
welcome.
thank you enough for your time. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for showing us around.
Well, thank you for dropping in, and that's what we're here for. So we've been available. This most recent weekend was our 6th Sunday of being available to the public. We were available for 4 hours, and now recently for 5 hours. We've been having an hour before the barbecue. Now it's a Q&A and public engagement session there for anyone who has any questions, input, etc. And then that way the barbecue is more focused on a barbecue, everybody just kind of hanging out, but more so Q&A tours and stuff from 11 till 12. Every Sunday, rain or shine, here at 310 St. Patrick Street at the Embassy. And following that, there's a community barbecue from 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock p.m. And soon to be open, 7 days a week once the volunteer crew this week gets everything all ready to go.
Fantastic, fantastic, just amazing. That is just fantastic. Again, William, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Shake your hand.
There we
William's a great guy. Come on down and see William and see what this place is all about. It just looks like a fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to get this. And maybe UOttawaScotty is going to help these guys out with their pipe organ. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in here. Thanks again to Michael, and we'll see you very shortly.
Take care. Thanks.
All kinds of dehumidifiers on down here. Feels great down here.